Welcome to Proust My Startup, the podcast that offers you a glimpse at the personalities of the people that make the local startup ecosystem in Malaysia. I'm Vanessa Muledus, aka Brand Shifu with an H on Instagram, the founder of North Branding Consulting Boutique Agency. I'm a brand strategist, 24/7 immersed by the sides of entrepreneurs, startups, and SME founders. As a brand consultant, a mentor, but also an entrepreneur program facilitator, an investment jury, and a business angel. In Proust My Startup, I want to really discover who are the people that make our local startup ecosystem. Because I'm a brand strategist, I want to understand how their personal brand might influence or shape the corporate brand of their organization. Today's episode is recorded from CloudMile's Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Startups thrive on innovation, and CloudMile is here to fuel that journey. As a leading AI and cloud technology company in Asia, they help businesses drive digital transformation and growth, leveraging machine learning, big data, and cloud solutions. With a team made up of certified technical experts and a strong network of technology partners, including being one of just 40 Google Cloud Managed Services providers globally, CloudMile has supported more than 1,200 companies through consulting, technical, and managed services. I've seen it firsthand with my own mentees, tech startup founders. The Center of Excellence in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, now offers startups a collaborative space to explore generative AI, data management, security, and more, and advance their digital competitiveness with cloud and AI adoption. So if, like them, you want to experience it yourself, visit today my.cloud. Hi, Philip. Very glad and honored that you're on my mic today. How are you?
I'm very good, Vanessa, as usual. Very good.
That's true. Philip has always a smile. That is true. So I'm very, very glad for the audience to understand why. Because Philip has been one, I think, of my very first encounters in Malaysia through my husband, Gregory,
Yes.
because he happens to be my husband's N+1 at EY Consulting Malaysia. And so I've been hearing for Philip since day one, basically, in good terms, And of course, I met him several times. We last met at a wedding of another EY partner. So the word is pretty much like intertwined between EY and my family and my life.
Yes.
And I'm very impressed by Philip, not only as a long-term consultant, Big Four, EY especially, and key partner here, but especially because on top of this crazy life, as we know in Big Four, Philip is a historical country manager for EY Entrepreneur of the Year Awards, which is a key award that actually a lot of startups don't really know about, which is surprising.
Right.
2 years ago, Philip nicely invited me to the award ceremony, and the emerging entrepreneur that won was Zeus. So this is the kind of people, Bila Bila, people like this were in that room that day. So names that we know, that we meet actually in our circles, but oddly enough, we don't know too much about this award of yours.
Right.
Though it's been how many years now?
It's been 24 years.
Yes,
in
right?
Malaysia, 24 years.
In Malaysia, because it's a worldwide, of course, because EY is worldwide. So Philip, for me, has a lot of depth knowledge about startups, not just in Malaysia, but around the world, because he's traveling with EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award a lot. So he sees a lot of the startups around the world and the ecosystem. So a ton of knowledge on top of the EY and consulting knowledge. So very glad to have such a prominent person here. On top of that, he's super humble and very nice person.
Thank you.
A lot of good things with Philip.
So much you have said, so many nice things. I hope I can justify it through this.
Of course you will, I'm sure. Don't worry, it will be very nice, and I'm sure we'll learn a lot more. And now we'll learn a lot more about you.
Sure.
Because even if we meet in many personal actually events, on top of the professional EY events, we never talk about very deep personal things, of course.
Yes.
So let's see how it goes, yeah?
Okay.
And I will start with you, asking you if you have ever heard of the Proust questionnaire. Proust, Proust.
Not really.
Okay, which is normal in this part of the world. So Proust comes from Marcel Proust. So Marcel Proust was a French philosopher and writer from the late 19th, early 20th century. Already super famous back then, and even more after his death. Marcel Proust, he at some point unearthed a questionnaire. Back then, the aristocratic circles in Europe and the intellectual circles, they would have quite nothing to do, I think, somehow.
Yeah.
And so they were into indoor games. And one of those indoors games was brought by Marcel, and it was a series of personal questions. And it went all the rage in France and abroad. So I've taken this questionnaire and brought it back to the 21st century in the most advanced and future forward thinking crowd, which is the startup people and everyone around that. Some of the questions are actually from Vogue, the magazine, which I didn't know actually, but recently I discovered it. But nonetheless, they are all very much the same flavor, very personal. And this question, Proust thought that they were really unearthing the true personality of people.
Okay.
So are you ready to take this?
Sure.
All right. So question number 1 is, what is your idea of perfect happiness?
Ooh, wow. Perfect to me, I guess perfect happiness is a combination of a few things, I believe. A combination of being at peace with yourself, making sure that you do everything that you need to do in the right way, whether it be, waking up at the right time in the morning, making sure you do your exercise, making sure you deal with the family well, you speak to them well. Of course, you fight and argue, but you make up well and so on. So that's the peace, personal part. The other part of having a relatively perfect life is actually, to me, it's the religion itself. Being at peace with your religion, being sure that your faith is clear in your mind, because many people feel that faith is about praying. For me, faith is about how you take action to help people and
implementing your faith.
Implementing it, yes. I guess the third part of happiness is actually making sure or seeing your children who are actually a product of you, right, and your wife, of course, contributing well, doing well, behaving well, and so on. In fact, recently someone asked me, what do you think success is? And they thought success was having fame, money, cars, house.
The fake success,
The mechanical and manual success, right? And I told him, actually, you can have that. But to me, the biggest success to me is when no one calls me to tell me my kids are behaving badly.
Actually, I share that. Yes, now you're saying this.
So I think happiness is a combination of a number of things. And I feel that it cannot be one dimension only, right?
True.
And so
it's a more complex notion, indeed. Yeah. I like it. Now, what is your greatest fear, if you have any?
Actually, my greatest fear now is greatest fear is actually living my later life, and the problem with the world today is that we live much longer than probably we should.
True.
And running into things like dementia or forgetfulness and so, because I'm very particular about my memory.
Sure.
And I believe I have a relatively good memory. I can remember a lot of things, and people sometimes get stumped by the facts that I can remember. But the biggest fear is losing that. And when you lose that, and I've seen that in many of my loved ones, when you lose that, you lose a lot of control over what you want to do and so on and so forth. So that's probably one of my biggest fears.
I can relate as well. I've seen that a lot. I'm still seeing this.
I've seen it a lot of my relatives.
Same here. It's unfortunately happening more and more on top of
that.
So I think the fear is more and more to me as well. In that corner, I would say. Now, what is the trait you most deplore in yourself? So the trait you would like not to have?
I'm extremely impatient, and sometimes can come across as being very rude because I'm impatient. So I guess maybe you can say a talent or whatever I have, or something that I was given, is that I can see a lot of things ahead of. I can see things happening. I feel ahead of when it happens, and I can sort of like a risk management. I can say that this is going to happen if you don't do this, but many people don't see it at the same time, and I sometimes get very impatient, especially with the family. Impatient that they didn't pick this up, they didn't think about it earlier, and so on and so forth. And sometimes that's something which I sometimes regret, because you think way ahead of others.
Are you a chess player?
No, I'm not. I used to, but no.
Because that could come handy, I think.
Yeah.
So now, same question, but for the others, what is the trait you most deplore in others?
I guess it's the converse of where I am, and people don't think don't think for themselves. They don't analyze information. They don't foresee, or they don't probably look at different options available. Even at work, a lot of times in my many years of experience, in the early days, the partners used to, I guess, delegate a lot to the people
Yeah.
like us when we were junior. So there was a lot of empowerment, right? So and when there's empowerment, you have to make certain decisions. You have
Sure.
to decide. You have to analyze. You have to think through what could happen if we didn't check a certain transaction in audit or whatever not, or we didn't ask certain questions. What would happen and so on. And there's a lot of empowerment for you to think through, and then solutions would go up to the leaders, and they would then make the call on options and so on. But today, I find that a lot of people are maybe short-term thinking, because maybe with our gadgets and everything is
True.
available immediately, they don't want to think and don't want to analyze. And oftentimes information comes to you, either they have checked online, or they have didn't think enough in depth, and they expect you to make decisions that they can actually give you options on.
True.
And I get very irritated with that, because I find that they are not learning. And so one of the things that I often do, I tell my people, I'm stupid. You are the smart guys. You come and tell me how to make me smarter.
Very well.
Because otherwise, they will always come to you, and you are like the god who makes the decision.
True.
But I can also make a mistake, you know.
True.
So that's one of the things I get quite upset with, even with my family as well. My kids sometimes, they don't really troubleshoot. They don't think of options, and
Yeah.
they don't come and tell you that, I think we can do it this way or whatever not. Sometimes when they do it, I'm very happy, but oftentimes they don't, and you get a bit impatient and irritated.
Yeah.
Type of thing. That's the
I
that's the
can,
fear I have with others.
Yeah, and I can relate to what you're saying in the startup circles, because I hear a lot of startup founders having the very same issue that what you're saying,
Yeah.
which is my people count on me too much, way too much,
Yeah.
and it's not easy actually, because
Yeah.
they have also an issue to delegate.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, it seems there's a generation, maybe I'm
Yeah.
not sure, where they are looking up and expecting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as you were saying, you're not God here, so
Yeah.
you make mistakes as well.
So just to labor on that, I love it when my people, my team, my peers, they challenge, right? They say you must be wrong.
Yeah.
I think we can look at it a different way.
Sure.
And so on and so forth. And I also like to challenge. So the problem we have today is that people don't challenge enough.
True.
And if you challenge, I mean, no answer is the wrong answer to me. If you challenge and it's wrong, we agree it's wrong. And if you challenge and there's a certain dimension of truth or possibility to change the way we do things, or the way we engage with our clients or with our people or whatever not, then it's a win to me, right?
True.
But people don't do that enough.
Do you think
today.
it's cultural, maybe? Like Asian culture?
Yeah, probably part of
Maybe.
it. But I just think that people are not long-term thinking enough. And
That would be universal. I
yeah,
think.
very short, very reliant on immediate sources of data. So for me, the biggest problem I have is when people go to ChatGPT or one of those,
True.
and they get a solution and they think that's the only solution. I use ChatGPT myself, but when I use it, I will look at it and I will say, does it relate to what I know? If it doesn't, I analyze further. Only then I may accept some of
Yeah.
it. But our people sometimes they just go, and the easy option is, let me go and check, and then I come back and I sound very smart with my bosses or whatever, right? Even my sister told me at school that she could tell from exams that a certain type of answer was given by a number of students, and it corresponded to what ChatGPT would tell them.
There you go.
So they knew that they were sort of cheating, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
then
yes.
So to me, that is a big no-no.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Which makes sense about what you deplore in yourself as well. The
Yeah.
impatience. So it's
I'm
all
very
connected here.
impatient.
All connected. I think we're a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I have this answer a lot here. All right. Next question is, which living person do you most admire?
Living person.
Yes. It can be someone famous or could be someone around you. Doesn't matter.
Living person. Well, probably my wife at this stage, because if you talk about living, I would have, a month ago I would have said my dad.
Okay.
And we can talk about that as well. But my wife, I suppose, because she seems to be very in control of herself. She's very good at what she does, and she sort of understands the environment pretty well. And I guess she's like me also sometimes impatient, but generally I find that she always does the right thing for the right reasons, and she never really thinks of herself. So I think probably that's someone pretty good.
I
I
understand.
can
I
see.
met your wife for first time last weekend or the weekend before the wedding.
Yeah.
I didn't know her, but I said, Greg, she conveys a sort of global elegance, I would say, not just physical. She's a beautiful woman, to be honest with you, but she has something is going through.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think it's related to what you're saying.
Yeah.
She has
So
this
so
kind of
actually,
elegance.
yeah, if you don't know her enough, some people may think that she seems to be very aloof, right?
I
Doesn't
understand.
She's not very good at social. That's why she doesn't come for my entrepreneur events.
Yeah,
And so
I
she's
never,
not really.
yeah, I've never seen her
She
before.
can't be bothered with those things. But she's very good at understanding people. And the reason I know of her attributes as well further is because she works in hospital and she's a pediatrician, and she is a professor in medicine, and so she lectures students and so on. And I see oftentimes little cards coming from the past students or students who do well in the exams, or patients who are, she's helped, and I think
Yes.
she helps them in many different ways. And that's how I know, but she doesn't come and tell you
Of
about it,
course.
right?
Hey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's nice.
yeah.
Okay. So, your wife. Now, nothing to do with that. What is your greatest extravagance?
My greatest extravagance. Mm, greatest
It
extravagance.
can be a physical something or an immaterial something.
Probably I have a few cars, but you see, I grew up in a very humble home, and when I came up through the firm was very humble. I started off after high school. I don't
Yeah.
have a degree and earn very little, and I said I need to, plan my career, right? So actually, up to today, I don't think I have uh, an extravagance at the level of maybe what people may think
Sure.
online.
Sure.
But to me, if anything to it extravagance, I've got a few cars, and I like to keep my cars, and I like to maintain them. Nothing very fancy, just old cars that I
Okay.
keep, and one or two nice ones. Probably that's the main extravagance. Other than that, really nothing much. We live a very, very simple life.
Simple life. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very simple life.
That
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah.
All right. Now, what is your current state of mind?
Actually, currently, I have a few years more before I have to retire from EY, because there's a retirement age.
Yeah.
Although I don't personally feel I'm
That I
ready to do
understand.
that.
I think it's 60 years old at
Yeah,
EY,
60
right?
years.
Yeah,
I got
it's
a few
pretty
more
young,
years.
actually.
Yeah, pretty young. So actually, now the progress of my thinking is, how do I leave the right legacy? How do I think about my own next
Yeah.
plans?
Because you won't just stay home
Yeah,
and
yeah, I don't think I can. In
polish
fact, I was
your
telling
cars.
the when I came here, I told the driver that I don't know what to do, because we have been working for 30, 35, 36,
Sure.
37 years, right? And then to just drop and do nothing is very difficult. So
You can't.
the state of mind now is actually thinking about how to live well. What what would succession plan look like for the things that I do, and what is my plan for the future? Plan for my future, I think, is a little bit more progressing, but the succession and so on is something that we are working on very closely now.
Right. Very
In fact, we
nice.
just had quite a few discussions with partners and so on. What do we do next?
Yeah, it's important because I feel 60 is so young.
Yeah, yeah,
The company is also letting go a lot of knowledge.
yeah.
A lot.
Correct,
It's a wealth here
correct,
and
correct,
connections and
correct.
so yeah, 60. I don't know who started to
Yeah, well,
because it's worldwide, huh? The 60. It's not just
yeah,
Malaysia, right?
yeah. But some countries can increase it depending on their charter and
Okay.
all that. But I think the bigger thing is, there's a lot to to pass on. And
Yes.
the problem, I guess, it's partly our fault. But the problem with Asian culture is that we're not very good at succession planning,
Okay.
right? So even for me, I'm thinking 4 years ahead, and I think that's already very good compared
Yes.
to many
Yes.
other Asians. They will say 6 months more, I'm going to retire. Okay, you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of who and how and what we will do, and for that, and for various aspects of things. But the future of what I'm going to do after, um there's some ideas I have, but there are a lot of things that open up there,
Mm.
and which I'm
I'm
sure.
sure, honestly, a career in a big four
Yeah,
with consulting and all you have done,
yeah.
you will have so many doors open.
Well,
There's,
there's some people already asking me,
yeah.
and they're asking me to leave earlier. I say no, I
Oh,
can't.
yes.
So,
It's just a matter of you knowing what really
yeah,
you
yeah,
want to do
yeah,
and
yeah,
what would fulfill you still.
yeah. But if you know me well enough, I'm really a loyalist. I've been in one
Yes.
organization
Yes.
from the time I started, right? And I have had many offers,
Of
right? Even
course.
to join competitive firms,
Uh-huh.
but I said no. And in fact, I consulted my wife on one many years ago, and she said, "I know you. You will not leave. So don't waste your time
Mm.
telling them I'll come back to you. Just tell
Sure.
them no.
Sure.
So that sort of thing. So
Okay. So maybe you will be loyal to a next chapter
yeah,
entirely.
I'm sort of know that the firm will always be special for me.
Sure.
So whatever they need, they need advice or they need input, I will always be
Yeah,
there.
you'll be around for sure.
And I doubt I will compete in that space, right? I don't think I will go and
Yeah,
advise anyone else.
yeah, understand. Or set
I
up your
don't think
own company or
that's the DNA that we are brought up
yeah,
in.
yeah.
So
But I think there are lots of, I think, roles, not necessarily like corporate, but where you can share your knowledge
yeah,
as well with the
yeah,
next generations
yeah,
or the leaders, which is
yes,
already what you're doing in
yes,
your daily job.
yes, yes,
Lots more. And this ecosystem has shown me an entire new um, side
yeah,
of what we can do with such expertise,
yeah,
actually, which
yeah,
I was completely ignorant
yeah,
coming from Australia.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought it's just that way of doing.
yeah.
And here, completely different.
Yeah, actually, it's interesting because I mentioned at the start when you asked me what you enjoy a life or what do you think is happiness, right?
Yeah.
And I said something about religion, and for me, it's action. So, interestingly, over the last maybe 10 years or so, I've been quite involved in a number of things within my church.
Yeah.
I'm a Catholic, and education is one of them. Where I'm involved in an education group that owns a number of schools,
Okay.
not for profit, but we run some international
Yeah.
schools, local schools, and we're trying to build more schools. So I'm
Okay.
involved there very heavily. I'm also involved with my church in the finance side, helping them with,
Yes.
making sure that we keep the funds and manage them carefully, and even in some aspects of the archdiocese and so on. So I think that aspect has really helped me because in the early days, you chase your dreams of making money, doing well,
Yes, correct.
being a leader, whatever not, right? And like my nephew asked me what is success, and I said
Mhm.
it cannot be only that, right? Thankfully, over the last 10 years or so, there's been a big uh, dimensional push towards trying to help in this
True.
space, using your
True.
talents, using your experience, but without any return.
True.
There's no money that comes or
True.
whatever, but I think the contribution gives you a lot of satisfaction.
True.
So I
True.
do that
True.
a lot. Yeah.
That's nice. So a lot of doors can open.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
And I'm sure there will that part will continue to be dominant in
Yes.
what I do next.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I know you will do great. There's no wonder here.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what do you consider the most overrated virtue?
The my own overrated words.
So what you think that maybe a lot of people talk
Oh.
about and you disagree with? I give the example of oh, nice slipped my mind. Anyway, a startup founder, like it's not a startup anymore, it's a big one in the US, I think. And recently he said that kindness at work was overrated. And for him, it was about performance, for instance.
I was going to say that. Actually, to me, in general, I find when people come to say how much they're helping their community, even I said it just now, but when people say how they're helping the community and how they're helping with social responsibility, I always am concerned because there's always whenever you have a commercial dimension behind a social dimension,
Yeah.
that's always something I'm very concerned with. If
Mm.
there's a commercial dimension behind a social dimension, but that commercial dimension eventually helps the social dimension, then it's okay. So I give you an example. I as I talked to you about the church thing and so on, there's no commercial dimension. So there's
True.
a total social. So that's fine. Using your talents, helping them, and doing whatever you need to do within certain rules and
Yeah.
regulations. So I used to help a global NGO many years. Many years actually, and they became a very well regarded, one of the best known in the world.
Mm.
Many World Bank awards, for financial reporting and transparency. And what I took from them is that their social dimension was their social dimension. Everything that happened because of that social dimension. If they got very good returns from their microfinance, for example, that went back to the social dimension. So there was no reporting of the fact that I am doing very well here and I'm giving some portion back to here.
Yes.
Their whole existence was the social dimension.
Yes.
They made a lot of money from commercial activities, commercial business, because they wanted to use those commercial returns to help the social
Yeah,
dimension. So for me, I find that very, very telling, because if you have a clear social dimension without a parallel commercial dimension, then you're really
Yeah, it's more that the commercial is the fuel for the social.
exactly,
And
yeah.
everything has its
Yeah,
own
yeah.
space, and you
But
understand the hierarchy.
but that's very difficult to find, because
Sure.
every organization commercially will have a social dimension. But if they overrate the social, what I mean is they over elaborate on the social dimension, and when people come and tell you money is not important, the social thing is important, then I find that's not really
It's dodgy.
it's-
Yeah? Understand.
So you need to be very clear. I have a business, I need to have a right return, I need my shareholders need to have value, but I know that I have to also think about my community, and I do enough to help my community. And it doesn't mean that the helping of the community overtakes the commercial.
Yeah.
You have to be very clear.
Yeah.
If people are very clear and they say that that's how I run my business, I put aside some portion to help, and it doesn't counterplay with each other as much as then I think it's honest, like honest.
Okay, understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, speaking of which, somehow it's connected. On what occasion do you lie? Big or small? So lie, L-I-E. There's something with my pronunciation, so L-I-E.
On what occasion do I lie?
Yeah, can be very small, can be
Oh.
less small. Is there any occasion?
Sometimes I have to lie that I'm very excited about certain things when I'm
Yep.
really not.
Yep.
When I can't be bothered about meetings or
Oh,
meeting
yeah.
people, I have to lie to say that I'm not free or whatever. Not. Or sometimes I have to, I guess, pretend to be engaged when I'm really not interested.
We all do that,
It
I
doesn't
think.
happen that often, unfortunately, for me nowadays. It used to before, because you have many clients.
Yep.
And there's some who are really paying, you know where.
Yep.
But someone else has given you that legacy, and you have no choice, and you really don't want to do anything with them. You want to sort of terminate them or ask them to terminate
Sure.
you, but you have to sort of bite your teeth, bite your tongue, or whatever not, and see them. I sometimes I do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that much these days. Sometimes I have sort of like say a white lie to friends, because they all want to meet, they want you to go out, socialize, and I'm really not into a lot of that in these days. And sometimes you have to tell a white lie.
Yeah.
So
That
probably-
remains quite soft, I must
probably
say.
that's
Yeah.
generally relatively soft. I don't think it happens
Yeah.
very often.
And you're Christian, so that wouldn't go really well with that. I would
Yeah,
say,
yeah,
if it was
yeah.
really a big lie. So
Yeah.
understandable. All right. Now, what do you most dislike about your appearance, if anything?
Parents probably, I don't know, my height maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've always, when I was growing, most people will say it's my head, the hair, and all that, but I really don't care about the hair anymore. It used to be in the early days, I guess, when your hair starts dropping, but I really don't care about that anymore. I think the biggest challenge I had growing up was height, because I was short. I'm short. I'm shorter
Okay.
than most people.
Okay.
Yeah, and in school people always disturb you and so on. But I wish I were a bit taller, because I do a lot of sports. I play
Yes,
a lot of sports,
yes.
and I think I play sports relatively well. And I always wonder what I could have achieved if I were taller and had more reach and so on.
Understand. Which sport were you in?
Badminton, tennis,
yeah, okay.
badminton,
Yeah,
racket games. Where reach is helpful. And I swim a lot, so but the
Okay.
swimming doesn't bother a lot. But the
No, but the racket sport, yeah.
racket sport
Yeah,
helps
yeah.
if
I
you're
can tell
if
for
you've
the
got a few
tennis.
inches longer.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah.
Recently, I picked up pickleball. Not that I love it,
Yeah.
but I put a change on myself anyway. And I partner with so for doubles, and the guy was extremely tall, like really tall, and he could cover the whole.
Yeah.
But so he was playing somehow singles in the doubles because he was so tall.
Yeah.
So that was really handy.
Yeah,
So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
some racket sports, even tennis,
Yeah.
you can go so much faster to the net.
Yeah.
So I didn't
But
see you were.
I wish I were taller, but that's all over now. After
Yeah.
they say I really don't care, but I think sometimes having that sort of thing that you don't quite like, you actually compensate by doing different things. So
Sure, of course.
I think I've compensated enough. So
Of course.
that sort of
So you're a
thing.
tennis player. We should play one day. You
I
know that
stopped playing
Greg is.
tennis.
You don't play anymore.
I used to play a lot, but now I play badminton. So.
Right.
I know Greg is a very good
Yeah,
tennis
yeah,
player.
that's why I thought, we should do a double, but you don't do that anymore. All right. Now, which living person do you most despise? So hold on. This question is really from the 19th century. Back then, despising in public was a game, I think, but we don't do that anymore, especially in public. So it's more, I would rephrase it. Which kind of person do you really don't want to be surrounded by?
Well, I actually despise people who actually um, don't mean what they say.
So
And
fake people,
overpromise
non-authentic.
and underdeliver. I'm trying to put dimensions of their, and there's a certain type of people, certain group of people who do that all the time, and people who actually come across as they are very important, helping everyone, but actually they are messing things up at the background.
Yeah, yeah.
And if those of you listening know about the recent news in the media about sports and whatever, realize that there's a lot of things happening there that actually has shamed the nation. And I really despise if we find the people at the background of that, that type of behavior about not being honest, not having proper governance, not thinking for people ahead of time. You know, the things that I'm impatient about.
Yes.
I really despise people who actually only think for themselves and not think enough about the longer term. So
Understand.
that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now, what is the quality you most like in a man? So gendered question here.
I think it's someone who's actually comfortable with himself, confident about their capabilities, and confident enough about things they don't know. And I try to do that as much. Some people know me personally. Sometimes think that I know too much, but I actually am generally I like a man who's able to say when I don't know, and I need to learn something.
Yeah.
But confident enough and very confident in what they know and they are good at. Yeah.
Okay. And so what is the quality you most like in a woman?
Same thing, confidence, ability to see beyond your own needs to others, and I guess always honest with your views and feelings. I think, yeah.
Right. Okay. Now,
I was thinking about my wife when I said
yeah,
that.
right. A lot of people, I think, when I ask this question, think about the women in their lives, mom, sister,
Yeah,
wife.
she's very direct. So the only person who can tell me things that most people won't is
It's her.
probably,
But that's also
same for
why
them,
I
yeah.
guess you have chosen her as well.
Yeah.
It's more of a partner.
Yeah.
So now, which words or phrases do you most overuse if you are aware of it? I guess everyone has it, but not necessarily aware of it.
Phrase I overuse.
Phrases, words.
I guess probably, yeah. I'm sure we can do it or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That goes with
because patience. Yeah, I'm sure we can do it. Or I'm normally, if you think about an issue, I'm normally what can we do to what we cannot do.
Yes.
And there's some people who what we cannot do to what we can do.
Sure.
So I'm always what can we do to solve this problem? What can we do to get over it? What can we do to resolve this issue? And can we look at different ways and things as opposed to, oh boy, we can't do it. So can we, think about how can we rescue the situation?
Yes.
So for me, it's
yes.
half cup full,
Yeah,
glass half full,
understand.
half empty.
That way your brain is wired into succeeding.
Yeah, I'm always into
and
positive.
exhausting all the possibilities before it has to come to the real
Yeah.
check, which is actually we can't.
Yeah. I'm extremely positive.
Yeah.
I'm a positive thinking type
Yes,
of person, not
very
a
nice.
negative. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, now maybe we have a hint on this. What or who is the greatest love of your life?
I guess my wife, of
Yeah.
course, and the other person probably would be my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, because my mom and I were very close, and if I hadn't gotten married to my wife or met my wife, then obviously I'll say it's my mom. So it's
Okay.
my wife, I guess.
Yes. Are they comparable in some ways? Your wife and your mother?
Some ways, yes, some ways. Because my mom was also very direct in her views, and she was very witty, and she a key trait was she used to be able to get along with people at a certain uh, economic level, and like people would come to the house, they were like domestic helpers or gardeners,
Yeah.
and she got along very well with them, and she used to help them, she used to advise them. In fact, up to today, people still come to my house and tell me how much she has impacted them, and
Oh, wow.
how and people come and visit her grave every day, and
Wow.
and they would do anything to help her and all sort of thing. And in some ways, my wife is like that with her students, with
It
her
is what you were saying, yeah?
patients,
Mm.
because she works in a government hospital, I mean,
Okay.
a university hospital, and the people who come there are at a certain economic level,
Sure.
so they need help, they need advice, sometimes they need help
Yeah.
financially and so on. So she does all that, so I know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so in that sense, that's a parallel.
Yeah, there's
yeah,
an analogy here.
yeah,
I
yeah.
understand. Now, when and where were you the happiest?
Oh, when was I the happiest? Mm, I guess probably when there are many occasions, but one I
Sure.
can think of is when we had a big celebration for my parents, my dad's birthday,
Mhm.
and when my mom was around. Together, we had a big family celebration. Everyone was there, my wife, family, children, and all that. I think
Nice.
because that was probably, now when I think back, that's probably the last time that all of us were together, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
I
So
understand.
this was about 3-4 years ago.
And on top of that, if I remember well, your wife is going from Singapore.
Singapore,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's close, but still.
Yeah.
Understand.
So probably that would have been one of our happy times, because the whole family was there from my side. My parents were there, and we had a birthday and big celebration, and
It
they
was
all
nice.
they always like to have their friends around there. Most of their friends, some of them have passed on after that, and almost every important friend that my dad and mom had was there at that event.
I understand.
Yeah.
I can
This is
relate.
just
Yeah.
before, I think it happened just before COVID, I think. 1990.
Okay.
5 years ago. 2020.
Very nice. Very nice
Yeah.
indeed.
So probably that's one of the, because there have been many
Sure.
occasions, right?
Yeah.
So
But that one is
when the kids do well in
sticking
the
to your mind.
exams, and
Sure.
so there are many highs. So,
Of course.
yeah.
Okay. Nice one. Which talent would you most like to have?
Which talent? I don't know whether patience is a talent.
Maybe in some ways.
In some way, yes. Probably a lot more knowledge on, I guess a lot more ability to uh, analyze information, maybe less. I do it very fast sometimes, maybe slower, and maybe better information can come out of it. That's why patience is
Yes, that can be also in the way
probably,
of this kind of space. Okay,
Sometimes I
understand.
feel that you rush through. Maybe sometimes you rush through. Not that anything crazy has happened, but sometimes if you take your time a little bit, maybe you could have a different decisions, which things like that. Maybe
Understand.
that's something.
Okay. Now, if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Patience.
Patience. It's revolving around it.
I'm very impatient.
At least it's consistent.
Yeah.
All right. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
I think it ties back to what you asked me earlier about success, right? To me, my greatest achievement is actually bringing up my 3 children, and I believe all 3 of them have done well. Not just well academically, they've done well as human beings. They are very respectful. They respect their elders. They have brought them. They've come up to become good contributors socially as well. They generally good children. And the reason why I say that is because I've seen many families who have maybe a bit more than others, and the children go all over the
True.
place. They
It
get so much
doesn't,
access, and the other success I think we have had, and I use that with my wife as well, is that we have actually taught our kids that the simple living is the best. There's no need for extravagance. There is also a need to value the money that we have and make sure they use it the right way. So I think that's like, most people would think when you ask that question is about my career achievements. Career achievements is one thing, but to me the thing that will live on with you,
True.
right? The legacy that you
True.
leave.
I can relate because my kids, as you know, are smaller.
Yeah.
And my fear those days are, will they become good people in life? Will they have a happy life?
Yeah.
And not do the wrong
Yeah,
choices?
yeah.
And right now it's rooted into what we say with
Yes,
Greg,
yes.
mainly.
Yes.
Because we're alone, we don't have the families around.
Yes,
We've
yes.
been expatriated for so
Yes.
long, and they have never been surrounded by the
Yes.
other family.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm thinking about this as well, thinking, oh yes, I think it's a great achievement when you're the other side
Yeah.
and you know, okay, they can go. If I have to die now,
Yeah.
they're all settled.
Yeah. Yeah. So for
And,
me, my kids, all three of them, I think generally we have brought them up to be humble as much as we can, simple, and not too extravagant in the way they live.
Yeah.
Of course, once in a while you give them
Sure,
some special
sure.
stuff, but and make sure that they are grounded in everything they do.
Yes.
Right. I think that's probably the biggest success that I feel you can have for anyone. Like,
True,
but
true.
of
And
course,
a great relief, I think, as
yeah,
a parent.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I can totally relate. I'm middle of it still. So
Yeah.
I'm longing for this day where I can say, I did my job.
I'm
It's
not. Our
okay.
job is never done, but I think
Never,
it's
but
getting
yeah,
quite okay.
you can see there's a transition, a
Yeah.
happy transition
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
let's
There's
say.
a
So
transition. Yeah, exactly.
that's true.
Yeah.
So now, speaking of, I hope my job is done if ever I'm passing away. If you were to die and come back as a person or a thing, what would it be?
I would just run come back as me.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I'll change anything.
Okay, relive
However, the
everything.
imperfections are, I don't think I'll change anything significantly. Maybe patience a bit, but
Again.
other than that, yeah. Other than that, I don't think so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Now, where would you most like to live? Can be a specific place or a kind of place.
Oh, eventually I would love to live in my own hometown in
Okay.
Alosta, where I come from. In Malaysia, of course. Malaysia is for sure nowhere else.
All
right?
Malaysians, I mean, I have just Malaysians here, mostly, I think. Yeah. And they're all about somewhere in Malaysia.
Yeah. For me, Malaysia, and if I had a choice to retire and live a relaxed life, it'd probably be my hometown,
Hometown, okay.
which is in Alosta and Kedah.
Uh-huh.
And that's always home for us. So that's somewhere I would love to.
Okay. Now, what is your most treasured possession? And it can be immaterial.
My most treasured possession. Wow, never thought about it. Hmm. I guess if we talk about not non-material, is that I have all my faculties
Yeah,
intact.
I was thinking.
My memory and
I was thinking of it.
whatever not. Because there's a lot of material possessions you have, but
Yes.
I don't know how to differentiate them. But for me, it is having your faculties, your ability to think, ability to laugh, to cry, to whatever. I think that's probably the most important for me.
True. I think it's more and more actually important
Yeah,
those days and
yeah.
less granted.
Yeah,
Ended.
yeah.
Now, what do you regard as the lowest depth of misery? So a state where you have no hope anymore.
I think the lowest depth of misery would be when I guess you have no one to turn to. And there are many people who so we sometimes live in a bit of a sheltered life. I'm talking about me and family and so on, because we always have someone to live, someone to turn to, and someone to relate to. Maybe we have some financial means to do that and whatever not. But more and more I've seen people who actually do not have anyone to turn to, no friends, no family, and I always wonder, how do they live? How do they get up every morning? How do they even survive? And so on. So to me, that would be a real misery. How would you? There's nothing to look forward to.
I understand. Yes.
There's nothing to look back. There's no memory to look back on, and I just wonder how people live that way.
Like a bit of an emotional dryness somehow.
Yeah, physically,
Forced one.
emotionally, socially,
Yeah.
because people don't care about you.
Yeah.
And in fact, just yesterday, I was just thinking about how would people who do not have a handphone survive today?
True.
Right? And there are many people who are stateless, people who are not known, people who are outside the radar, don't have a face,
Yes,
and
yes.
they don't have access to that. How would they live? because everything goes back to digital, everything goes back to
That is
connectivity.
true.
If you're not, how do you, then you have a social circle that is made up of people in that space and they
True.
cannot progress.
True.
So to me, I would think that's misery, especially when especially when 99% of the world has got access. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
True.
really unfair that some people do that. So that's why in a lot of things that we do in my religious support and so on, we do a lot of work to help underprivileged people who may not have enough, and the funds that we collect, then we manage that such the way that people can get access.
Understand.
But it's amazing, how much
That's true. That's true. Now
you
you're
don't realize.
mentioning
You
it.
don't have access to a phone, don't have access to a network. You only can access to a certain circle of people. You cannot progress out of that hole.
True. True.
To me, that's misery.
Yeah, that's an interesting point of view indeed.
Mm.
All right. Thank you. Now, very much more light. What is your favorite occupation? Can be something that you have done or can be something you wish you could do.
Favorite occupation probably is what I do. I'm
Yeah.
an accountant, so I love being an accountant.
Wow. Back from business school, I was admiring because I had a few friends going accountancy. And like you, I was like, how can you really love accountancy? And there's something. I don't know what, but now you're saying it as
Actually, to be honest, when I was doing my A-level exams, I was thinking I would love to be a doctor.
Mhm.
I think I would make a good doctor. In myself, telling myself, or a dentist, but I never got a chance because I didn't really do as well in my exams. So,
Understand.
and it so happened that this opportunity came up. And the reason why I say this profession is what I would want to continue, because this profession is giving me so much.
Yes, I was about to
opportunity.
say.
Yeah.
I'm kidding about accountancy, but now
I hardly do
being
any
older-
accountancy these days.
yeah, I think it's not about accountancy per se,
Yeah.
but when you grow older in that career, I mingle with a lot of former accountant or former corporate finance people. At some point, it gives you a clarity on business.
Yeah.
So you can transform that into
Yeah.
another level of
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah.
And when I'm mingling with them, I can see now how they think
Yeah.
is coming back from those roots.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to know that I did finance at some point in accountancy in business school, I so didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm catching up like, why? I should have really paid more attention,
Yeah.
because
No,
it's really handy.
Yeah, it's interesting because if I had just become an accountant or an auditor, then maybe slightly different. But because the accountancy qualification was just a launching pad to do a lot of other things.
Yes.
So the things I've done over the last 30 over years, the baseline has always been your qualification, and that has helped you leapfrog for a lot of
Sure,
things. So
sure.
if I didn't have that qualification, I don't know whether I'll have this sort of experience. So
true.
that's why I said
Yes,
this
yes.
is the-
And I understand totally now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All right. Now, what is your most marked characteristic? Maybe it's the impatience again. And some questions are kind of circling back
Actually,
to others.
I think my characteristic is that I can understand. Impatience is one thing, but patience is one thing. But I think I have the characteristic of be able to understand information given to me. Maybe I feel maybe a millisecond faster than others sometimes.
Okay. Yep.
So because when we have a group discussion, I always find that I can pick up the matter that is being asked or the issue that is need to resolve, and some people may need a few discussions before they pick it
Understand.
up. The other thing that I think that I've observed is that when I do a lot of presentations, a lot of discussions with
Yes.
people and so on, and often your clients or your mainly clients or stakeholders will ask you a question, and the easiest thing for people to do is when someone asks a question, when there are a few key words that relate to their competency and what they know, they tend to rattle off what they know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somewhere along the line, they may answer the question. Whereas for me, I think I have the ability to understand exactly what the question is and be able to answer exactly what they want to know.
Understand.
And that is a very different from just saying and rattling off what you think. Right?
Yes.
So I think that trait, I think I have maybe a slight edge in that.
That's
sense.
maybe why you are where you are today as
I
well.
don't know about that.
Maybe that surely has contributed. All right. What do you most value in your friends?
Oh, honesty. Honesty, not so much from the money point of view. Honesty in terms of telling me what they think.
Yeah.
And I guess when they are not available to say so, when they are available to say so, when they have time. And I guess yeah, that's main thing. Honesty. Yeah.
Okay. Now, who are your favorite writers, if you have any?
I'm not very good at reading books and so on and so forth, but I can tell you in the early day, I can tell you some early day writers that I shaped a lot of my thinking. Enid Blyton,
Okay.
in the early days, reading the books about school, and then um, and the Five Find Outers, and and Mallory Towers. So it is those sort of books that shapes your long term thinking, right? So for me, maybe Enid Blyton would be one of them.
Okay.
Um, and then later down in studying, there was one or two guys who actually wrote very good books that simplify accounting into something you can understand.
Okay.
Tan Leong Tong and so on, so those sort of thing. But I'm not into very big novel
that's
reading,
fine.
that.
That's
So
fine. A lot of entrepreneurs actually, and you are one of them because being a partner at EY, you are an entrepreneur
yeah,
driving this company. They are not into writing as well. They are more into books, but functional books,
yeah.
like the accountant you were
Yeah,
talking
but
about.
I read a lot. Just that I don't really read a novel
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a management book that much, but I read a lot here
Yeah,
and there.
yeah.
I pick up
Yeah, there's
information.
not a particular gender
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you're after.
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
All right. So now, who is your hero of fiction? And it's not necessarily just literature, it can be cinema, comics, even mythology.
Hero of fiction. Hero of fiction. Let me give me a moment.
Sure.
Hero of fiction, maybe Superman.
Yeah, yeah.
In the early days, Superman could do everything.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, probably that would be
Okay.
fiction. Yeah.
Okay, Superman it is. Now maybe it's easier for you this one. Which historical figure do you most identify with? I find the identify a bit high, but it's more likely to be inspired by, and it can be a living or a past historical figure.
Hmm. I mean, this may be controversial, but I admire Mahathir Mohamad. Uh, a polarizing figure for many people today, but he comes from my school.
Okay.
And he's a life president of my Old Boys Association, which
Okay.
I'm quite involved in.
Yeah.
And I get to see a different dimension of him. What I admire is the visionary thinking, right? So a lot of things that you see today, though most people wouldn't want to admit it because it's not really in the politics scene and it's maybe a polarizing figure, as I said. A lot of the progress that we have made as Malaysians today, when we can move around like this, economically stable, and has a lot to do with his vision in the days when he was the first prime minister. So I think that's someone I admire a lot because for him the never say that never cannot do and never say die type of attitude was always there. Vision to see forward what people would benefit from, I think, was always there. I'm only looking at the positive. There, of course, things people say about negative stuff, but the fact that we have progressed as a country and able to progress even further today, I think a lot to do with the vision that he had. So I would say him is one of them.
Okay. Very nice. Now, so it might be the same answer actually. Who are your heroes in real life?
I would say my biggest hero would be my dad.
Okay. Yeah.
And because he was a role model for us, I in fact in the eulogy at his funeral, I said the same thing. He was our hero, my hero, and role model, and because he was just a simple teacher, became a headmaster and so on, but he was someone who taught us a lot about how to behave, how to treat people, how to be patient, to be kind, and he could engage with royalty, or he could engage with a simple man on the street, and it would be the same.
Right. Right.
And he had a lot of friends and people who he helped a lot and helped the poor and whatever not. So I think he would be number one for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said, let's say, mom or dad at some point
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they shape who we are. So
Yeah, he shaped. Yeah.
now, completely out of the blue, what are your favorite names, first names?
Names.
Yeah.
I like Michael.
Mm-hmm.
My son's name Michael.
Okay.
I like Mary for a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And probably Joseph.
Okay.
Yeah.
Related to religion, I guess. Yeah.
Related to religion. Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what is it that you most dislike?
I guess one of the things I most dislike is waiting. I hate to wait.
Yeah. Comes back to impatience.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm very impatient. Particularly when people say they will do certain things at a certain time, and I hate waiting when people, especially when the person hasn't shown the effort to want to get a
Yes.
certain thing done by a certain time. So that to me is I hate that actually. I hate
Understand.
generally waiting, but yeah, maybe that.
Okay. Now, what is your greatest regret, if any?
Greatest regret. I don't really have any major regrets. Well, maybe the only thing I can think of is I didn't go to see my dad a few days before he died because he called me actually. Generally, I don't have any regrets because I used to see him every month and spend a few days with him and so on before he died. I mean, for a few years before he died, right? But my regret is that he called me a few days and asked me when I was coming, and I said I was going to come the next week, which is the day he died.
Yes.
So
probably
that.
Understand.
Yeah, would have been nice to catch up with him before.
Understand.
Yeah. But nothing very crazy major. So
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Now, how would you like to die?
like my dad, he had a very good breakfast in the morning. He had his shower, and my sister was looking after him for many years. Had come back home early from school. She's a teacher, and hugged him and kissed him and said hi to him. And she went to rest. And then the caregiver called to say that he's looking pale. She came down to say hello to him. Hi, called him, and he just looked at her and he passed away. So to me, the most peaceful way to die is at home, and without any tubes around in you, and in your own simple way.
Understand.
Yeah,
full capacity,
full
not seeing
capacity.
it coming.
He had his full capacity. He had his memory with him. He could call and speak to us on the phone, and he just died. And I think that's the best way to go.
I understand. Yeah. Now, what is your motto?
My motto, I guess it's never say die. I guess nothing. I used to tell some of my guys that when they say they can't contact someone, I said there's no such thing as you cannot contact anyone.
True.
There's always a way to contact someone.
True.
Physically, online, digital, whatever. So I guess the background to that is that there's nothing that we cannot do to the extent that we can do. Right? Yeah. So it's a never say die type of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So we have gone through the 35 questions of the first questionnaire.
Oh, I did okay.
Yeah. How do you feel?
Good.
You're good? Yeah? That was not too complicated.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Okay. So now we will go into your company. So EY, and namely the brand that I'm interested in, which is EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And so I will ask you something that you never do this side of the world, but to give me an overview of EY and the award in a 1-minute elevator pitch, startup style.
Okay.
1 minute.
Okay, no problem. So EY is probably one of the largest accounting firms, known as an accounting firm, but we are an accounting, consulting, tax, and corporate finance organization. Probably a very big global name. But what many people may not realize is that one of our, I guess, our purpose is building a better working world. And that's been around for many, many years. And linked to that is the EY Entrepreneur Program. It's been around for 40 years almost. and we celebrate entrepreneurship in every part of the world, every country. And in Malaysia, we've been doing it for 24 years, celebrating entrepreneurship, not giving an award. I call it celebrating entrepreneurship because we recognize different types of entrepreneurs who actually contribute to the nation and how they've actually helped with economic development, nation's development, and so on and so forth. So EY Entrepreneur of the Year is probably one of our biggest programs that we do to reach out to the community and show that we are building a better working world.
Right.
That's
And indeed, it's good that you're saying it's a program, because I say it's an award, but no, the award is just the cherry on top of the cake.
Yes, it's a program.
Because there's a lot of weeks or months, I think, of building up momentum with those entrepreneurs as well.
And beyond that,
I remember,
as well.
yes, and beyond that. And then you bring them outside Malaysia to meet other entrepreneurs. So the story continues. It's a real program, which I think very little people know about it.
Yeah. Actually, if you could allow me to add a dimension, we run this program globally for the last 25 years, and there are about almost 80 different programs around. That means almost 80 different parts of the world do it. Some countries, and in the US, different parts of the US do it. So that's why there's 80, because we calculate number of countries.
The chapters there.
Yeah. So there are chapters in US, but there are almost 80 countries, in a way, in those countries in the world. And we were selected as one of the top 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in the world last year. Yeah.
Very nice.
As running this program, because they look at different dimensions of what we do, the brand, the impact, and societal impact and whatever not.
And if I may add, I think few people know also in the landscape of the Big Four, EY has a very special space. And I think this is why also you have this kind of program, because EY is not a listed company.
No.
So those partners that you are part of, that my husband is part of as well, you are driving the company as a collective group in each country. And then there must be some kind of other supranational entity. But each of you partners are actually entrepreneurs. In your hands is a big machine. And so for me, when I heard about this program, I thought, it makes a lot of sense because all of you are, I don't know how many partners around the world, you are into entrepreneurship on top of consulting is your daily bread, but you drive that and it's not a small feat actually to do that. So that makes a lot more natural that you are into the entrepreneurship space to me compared to any other competitor, for instance. Not that they are not able to do it, but you have that DNA here. So
actually, it's interesting you mentioned that. Actually, I strongly believe that each of us are entrepreneurs, and the more that our partners think that way, the better it is for the firm, because they will manage, their business. They look at opportunities. They will build relationships, and hopefully manage risk well as well, which we need to. So entrepreneurship individually, yes, I agree, fully agree, and I believe I am an entrepreneur myself, as in would be Greg and whoever else.
Yes.
And so it's almost a natural progress for us to recognize entrepreneurs in the community that we have. And I think that the way we have done it, we are setting ourselves apart from all the Big Four. So just to give you an idea of data, we do a global brand survey every year, and you're a brand expert. We do one for each country as well, and it's based on anonymous clients. And we've always been rated highest in terms of our brand relating to entrepreneurship. And always rated highly when people say that they have experienced positively event with EY relating to entrepreneurship, which effectively is Entrepreneur of the Year.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so we are entrepreneurs, and so happened that our brand of EY has actually becoming a defining brand positive for us.
Yes.
And we are way ahead of the other Big Four. In fact, there's no one else can come into this space.
Yeah, of course.
They can't come into this space
because
it's
we
your
are
DNA,
quite dominant. So it's not like you're inventing yourselves as entrepreneurs.
So if you go and ask a competitor partner from another firm, they will always tell you, hopefully, that this is one differentiating part that they wish they had taken on.
I understand.
Taken this space.
And I can tell, honestly, I've seen that in Greg. So Greg was hunted down and he was coming from Accenture. Big machine. I've known it for 20 years. Excellent machine. Partners were bright minds and all. But when he came to EY, he added an extra layer, that entrepreneurship layer. And I think also you recruit people like this as well, where you can feel there's a potential for or an appetite for becoming that kind of entrepreneur. Not every consultant can become an entrepreneur, but some have this kind of mindset already and personality. And I could see how years in, which is now 5-ish years, is still a consultant
Yeah.
and all, but there's an extra layer. And I think he's thriving in
Yeah,
even if it's a collective, so it's another dimension as well.
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting because no entrepreneur will be the same. So that's why it's very important for us to have the partners that we have, and it's as you will imagine, it's an admission to partnership and not a
True,
promotion to
true.
partner. So you need to be admitted into this club.
Exactly.
And the reason why it's important to be admitted is because we will look at the different traits of this entrepreneur
Yes.
that we want to bring in, whether he can fit the jigsaw in the right way. Because
Sure.
if everyone thinks the same way as me, we would not progress. You
Yes,
need to have different
correct.
thinking, different skills, different experience, different thinking, ability to challenge the norm. So I think as a firm, and this would probably be the same for the other big four, we are actually a group of very capable entrepreneurs, I would say. But for us, Entrepreneur of the Year program has defined the way we reach out to the market, the way we brand to the market, the way we tell the market that we are really thinking about entrepreneurship. And as I said earlier, it's not an award, it's actually a program.
Yes.
And a program, hopefully, that we can continue to leverage on.
Correct. And I think that's a great asset for the how you call that, the MNCs that you're advising and government, because you bring that entrepreneurship mindset into
and they see it
how
as
you
well.
see them.
They see
yes,
it as
of
well.
course.
And
That's
we try
a very
to bring them together
differentiating
at events and so on.
asset. Yeah. All right. So we keep going on the Entrepreneur of the Year then program. And I will ask you 4 questions about it my way, Brain Strategist way. So the first one is, why are you on Earth for as a program?
Probably the most easiest answer is that we have always felt that entrepreneurship drives economies. It's not the government all the time. Government has a role to play, but if the government dominates the economic decisions, then there's a lot of difficulty in a free market.
True.
So we've always recognized the fact that entrepreneurs are the ones who drive economic development in every country, if you break it down eventually. And so that's why in the early days, and I'm talking about the history of the program, 40 years ago, in a small town in the US, the partners decided they needed to recognize the entrepreneurs in their community because they were driving the economic development in that town. And it has spread, and it's much more dominant in this part of the world. So we believe we are on earth to do this because we need to keep recognizing entrepreneurs, because if entrepreneurship slows down, economic development slows down.
Sure.
So I think that's probably an easy way I would answer it.
I understand this. So what people do you want to resonate with as a program?
Innovators, people who have impact, who want to have an impact, not just, as I said earlier, not just social impact, and they want to grow commercially, and they also want to help in terms of social impact, because we look at both. We also look at environmental impact. So people with innovation, with obviously entrepreneurial spirit, the spirit that says, I will not produce this product and I'll be happy with this for the rest of my life. I will produce this product and I'll innovate this product at different stages of the ability that I have, and I will bring more and more community, more and more people to work and improving a brand or a product or whatever not. A classic example would be someone like Tony Fernandez, and how he has one airline, and now it's grown into, the brand has grown into so many different things. So we want to do that with our entrepreneurs.
Okay. Now, how different are you from your competitors as a program? Because there are a lot of entrepreneurs programs.
Okay, first and foremost, among the big four, no competition, because they don't have. There are many award programs out there, and I can tell you that at some point many years ago, I was actually invited by the government for a meeting to talk about these awards, because they started projecting it. I think before you came to Malaysia, it was in the papers front page to say that there are too many award programs in Malaysia. Some of them are scams, and how do we know that the real ones need to be there and so on. So then it kept going on for a bit, for a few days in the papers, and so the government wrote to me as in my capacity of the program director, to come for a meeting. And when I went for this meeting, in my mind, I thought they're going to say, you guys need to cut the program. We want to curtail and this and that and everything else. And I was told that they invited all the other award program guys to come. So I went for the meeting at a certain time, and I met the Secretary General of the ministry. and she, with her officers, called me for a private meeting first, right? And I'm explaining this so you understand where I'm coming from. And the meeting was to ask me, how does EY run Entrepreneur of the Year? Because we see you guys as the gold standard,
Ah.
right? So in my initial, when I went
Yeah.
there, I said these guys are going to
So
tell
far
me
away, yes.
to ask me to stop the
Yes.
program and this and everything else. But they actually had already sussed out that we were the gold standard. They said, we
Understand.
want to know how you run it. Do you all do this? You all do that? How do you all run this? How do you all run that? And everything else. Because in half an hour's time, we're going to call the other guys to come in to the meeting. So I had a private meeting to tell them how we
Understand.
do things.
Yes.
And then half an hour later, they opened the doors and allowed everyone else to come in. And I was sitting down almost at the same level as the government.
Understand. So you set the standards like
So
a
they felt, and
template
I
for
believe we
everyone.
do. So our standards are very clear. There's a lot of due diligence in the way we do things. We have categories. We have submission requirements. You need to submit financials. They need to be audited. We do background checks on you. We do a lot of things before you get to be accepted. And there's nomination criteria, there's due diligence further down, then there's independent judging. And independent judges are really independent judges. They come and sit and they argue with each other. They look through all the nominations. They actually decide on a short list. They actually interview each of the short lists, which we did last week. And they actually review that and they challenge each other and they make a decision on whom they feel are shortlisted from among them to win. And they choose the category winners. And even after they choose, everything is confidential and we keep doing background checks to make sure that there's no negative information because people things can happen, right?
Sure.
Up to now, up to the award, and they come back again and to review them. And I always tell the media and the public that we can even change the decision even when I'm at the mic just before the announcement, we can even take it out.
Sure.
Because we're very careful about the brand of the program.
Understand.
So we have a very, very structured program. Independent judging is a very key cornerstone of that program. And we choose the judges who are actually known to be in the market, past entrepreneurs, as well as known people like Stock Exchange CEO, former SecGen of MITI, and people who are known at a certain level,
Yes.
who can be independent, as well as people who know entrepreneurs and can suss out the entrepreneurship spirit and whatever not from it. We have a global set of judging criteria, which we apply everywhere in EY Entrepreneur of the Year, even in Malaysia, and so on. So there's a lot of structure and standards that we keep, and we need to maintain those standards. And I think that actually differentiates us from other programs.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can tell you that we have had challenges before because a lot of our winners, as they progress, sometimes their business changes, they sell it off, and they have issues in the past.
Sure.
But at the point in time of them winning the award, that's something that we are very clear that we have checked and we've made sure that they are appropriate.
Understand. Because the program, how long does it last?
A program year is about a year.
Yeah.
From the time
so
we
many
launch,
things can happen in it.
Yeah, and then all the way till we announce in December, a lot of things happen: activities, events, alumni events, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Now, what do you promise to those people that you are resonating with, those innovators you were mentioning?
We promise them that they will be within a group of alumni that is already set apart from the other entrepreneurs. But we also promise them that they will become mentors for future entrepreneurs. So we do a few things. We try and get them to come and talk to even our EY people. We try and bring them into public events that we try and host, or even in private mentorship programs whereby we bring the most senior winners to have lunch or dinner with the younger guys and talk to them about their business and so on. So we promise them that ecosystem within our alumni, but we also want them to realize that they become an example to future entrepreneurs. So whenever we have talks, a lot of people call us for events where they want to use our entrepreneurs, universities, public events, entrepreneur events, and they come to us and say, can you talk to your entrepreneurs, anyone that you feel is suitable to speak. And so we carefully curate that because the brand is at stake. Plus, we want to give the entrepreneurs an opportunity to realize that they are the example for the future.
So the real deal starts once they have
the
award, actually.
Once you're shortlisted, the deal starts because you get a lot of media attention. But I always tell them, you can think about your own achievements, but you also must think about how you are going to be an example for
Yeah.
the future.
How you're going to use that
the
for
startups that
others.
you are
Yes.
involved in, and so on and so
Correct.
forth.
Correct. All right. So it's very specific program.
Yes.
It's not a program to grow you like an accelerator, for
No.
instance. It's a program to how to say, to amplify what you're doing
Yeah.
inside the community
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
give back somehow
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
create some momentum for the ecosystem. So
Yeah.
becoming an ecosystem builder
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Actually, there's many people have come to me and said there's a lot of opportunity for you to use that and etc. But there's only so much we can do within the dimension of what we want to
Sure.
do, and we expect the startup organizations or investment, private equity organizations or venture cap organizations to capture all these winners and say, let's talk to you further, because
True.
we open the door.
Yep.
And they, but we try to do as much as we can to bring their message across.
Yes, yes.
But at some point, investment community, private equity firms should actually pick up on.
I must say, now mingling a lot with investors and VCs as part of my activities to nurture my brand strategy expertise, I must say you have done all the due diligence. So somehow
Yeah.
for those people, because
Yeah.
it's not an easy job to do,
Yeah.
but because you have spent 1 year and you could afford spending
Yeah.
that year,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure any VC can afford.
Yeah.
Somehow it would be like a jumping board for their own trade
Pre-qualification
expertise.
almost,
Yeah,
right?
right?
Yeah.
So indeed, that's a pool of, hey, look at me.
Yeah. But
It's
actually,
all
there's when I said there's also a method I need to highlight. Because of our structure and diligence and independent judging and so on, you will find that there are many award programs that are announced after us, because we have done the judging for them.
True.
And they will go and speak to a lot of my winners and
Indeed.
say, can we give you a special award? You need to buy a table, or you need to buy this, you need to pay for advertisement and all that. And that is proof of the pudding, because
Sure.
we have done the judging for them.
Sure.
So I always tell the government, I said, we have done the judging, or we tell stakeholders, we have done the judging. You'll see this person will win 3 or 4 more awards
yeah.
because we have done the judging for them. But whether those awards are worth or not, up to you.
That's
right?
true.
But
That's
I
true.
know what our award is
That's true.
worth.
We have recently had some conversations with my group of entrepreneurs at Nexia about that. One of them has been invited out of the blue to receive an award, and same. Asking us, the community, what do you think? Is that a scam or not? So we advised as much as we could. It turned out it was a real one, but there are so many that you have to pay for. I was contacted one day by the Emirates, I think, to be part of, and actually it was just advertising. Pay for your table and you will have an award. What's the point? I don't want an award that I'm paying for. Like I'm not judging myself, you know.
So our award, there's no money involved. There's nothing to pay for. It's totally done by us. We manage the whole thing. We pay for everything, and so it is really our award that we control, we manage, and we actually have that process to actually give it out.
And because you have an auditor background also, I know the probity is a key criteria. So you would apply necessarily the same in everything you do. So it's a guarantee as well.
To the best of our ability.
Of course. But I mean, you have the structure to to push the standards here forward. All right. Thank you. So 4 questions are completed. Okay. So is there anything you would like to share with us? Any hot news? Maybe when is the next cohort?
Okay.
If I can say
24th,
that.
we are completing the 24th year. On December 9th, we're having our gala dinner to announce the winners. The Minister of Finance number 2 is attending, is confirmed, which is important for us because we want the government at the minister and even at very senior minister level to endorse, not so much endorse, to be present, to give the awards, to show the community that the government is actually very much into supporting entrepreneurship. And the minister is actually very particular about being involved because he also wants investment community, right, to connect with us.
True.
Because we have done, as I said, we have done the right due diligence, the right shortlisting to get to a certain point where we have announced the shortlist and the winners will be announced in December 9th. But all of them have an opportunity to be courted by investment community for funds, or they can go in.
True.
Because they have that label behind them, right? As a EY
good
top
credential
nominee or whatever. So there's a bit of benefit for both sides or all sides, the investment community, the government, and the entrepreneurs to actually want to work in this circle. And the government support is important. So December 9th, we are doing the announcements. But at the same time, we'll be launching our 25th year,
Yes.
which is in 2026.
So when are the applications opening? And
Generally,
until
we
when?
would open them in February, March.
Okay.
Or so.
Closing?
It will close end of June,
Okay.
more or less. Sometimes we cater for some extensions depending on the situation because everything is done online.
Yep.
So we actually track from the time someone fills up the form, even they have not completed, we know and we will engage with them
Sure.
to find out because oftentimes they have problems getting information.
I
or
know too well.
their
Yeah.
accounts are not ready
Yes.
or whatever. So we can accommodate. But more importantly, that is actually getting into the door, right? Once you get into the door, the judges will look at it and they will evaluate and they will shortlist. But what we want to do next year is we want to try and do a number of programs to celebrate the 25th year. So I think the
Very nice.
startups can look forward to maybe some events, some
Yes.
programs. We are also thinking of maybe even a short weekend away, maybe for some of our top
Very good. Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And maybe we might bring in some startups to learn
Very nice.
and to actually celebrate success as well as learn different stages of entrepreneurship.
Yep.
So what I'm thinking of is that bringing a group of entrepreneurs together, spend 1.5 days together somewhere where we will analyze their younger guys, what do they want to achieve, the middle guys, how much more can they grow, and the older guys, what are they going to do to leave a legacy?
Yes. Yes.
So different dimensions.
Interesting.
and
Very
sides.
interesting.
So we're thinking of that. So that's next year is going to be a big year for us. End
Okay.
of the year is going to be a big one to launch that.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and
So speaking of which, because everything is online, where can we find information and those applications?
just go to ey.com and
Okay.
search for EY Malaysia
Okay.
and Entrepreneur of the Year. You'll find it. I mean, you just key in Entrepreneur of the Year Malaysia. You'll see all the
slide
links.
is coming. Yeah.
You can find and then where to apply and all that.
Okay.
will be
And
there.
I will put the link for the audience
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
LinkedIn post and the video and
Yeah.
all.
I think accessibility is very easy to actually get into to submit and be a. I can't guarantee that everyone will be shortlisted depending
Sure.
on their performance.
What's the point
or whatever.
otherwise?
Yeah, yeah. But definitely we look at every single nominee.
Okay.
We even many have come and told us that actually submitting an application to us is actually a good due diligence for internal
Sure.
because
Sure.
not many of them would have time to sit down and say, how do I write my brand story? What is my product? How do I differentiate myself from the
Sure.
other? What is my purpose? We ask all
Yeah,
those sort of
yeah.
questions, right? And then some of them don't even have a profile of the entrepreneur,
Mhm,
a photo of the
mhm, sure.
entrepreneur, And then what would you differentiate yourself from the rest, And then we also are very particular about your audited accounts, your financials, So many entrepreneurs may not have thought about that. It's important. Suddenly you realize that you need to have
Yeah.
these things in order. So some of them have come and told us the exercise of submitting has forced them to structure themselves better, and they don't mind not being shortlisted, but they will come back stronger because they've learned
I
something.
bet.
new.
Yes.
And
yes.
many of the winners have come and told us, or even those who have shortlisted come and told us that going through the interviews, the judges asking them questions, challenging them, has been a big eye opener for them because they didn't realize certain dimensions.
Yeah,
They didn't
yeah.
realize they may not have thought about their brand as much. They didn't realize they needed to have their financials a bit better
True.
organized and things like
True.
that. So.
No, I can bet because you're going so thoroughly into the
Yeah,
process
yeah.
that it's not just like a one-pager.
Yeah, and we have very
You
good
know?
judges as well.
Yes, yes.
Very good judges.
Very interesting, very interesting. So I will put all the links. And
Yeah.
you, where can we find you online? LinkedIn, of course.
LinkedIn, yeah. LinkedIn, I'm not good at LinkedIn, but LinkedIn, I'm there. You can go to ey.com, just key in my name, my profile
Okay.
is there. You can connect
Yeah.
with me anytime.
All
And
right.
I'm happy to meet anyone, although I'm very impatient, I think generally I'm quite an easy guy to
True.
talk to.
Very, very approachable. I can tell.
Hopefully,
very
yeah.
approachable. Thank you so much, Philip.
Thanks,
At
Vanessa.
the
Give
end
me the
of this
opportunity.
interview.
Everyone, all the best. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we'll see each other around, of course, as usual.
Okay.
All the best for the 9th December, is it? Yes.
9th December, yes.
EY Entrepreneur of the Year
Yeah.
2025.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you. No problem.
See ya.
All the best.
So, yeah, thanks.